Press the bell icon on the YouTube app to never miss a video from News Laundry.
Welcome to News Laundry Chhota Hafta. For the full episode, subscribe because it is behind the paywall and only subscribers get access to uncut, complete content. News Laundry Hafta is our weekly wrap of all that made the news, all that didn't, and all that should have and all that shouldn't have. We agree, we disagree, we critique, and occasionally we beat each other up. But it's all good fun. Subscribe.
This is a News Laundry podcast and you're listening to NL Hafta.
अंग्रेज अपना लगान और न्यूज लॉन्ड्री अपना हफ्ता कभी नहीं छोड़ते. Welcome to News Laundry Hafta. I'm Abhinandan Sekhri. On the panel with me today, Anand, Vardhan. Hi Anand, how are we doing? आज तो आपने भी स्वेटर पहन लिया, मतलब ठंड असल में हो गई. Hello Manisha.
Hi.
And joining us on the phone, former News Laundry crack reporter, journalist, correspondent, Arunabh Saikia, who is now stationed in Guwahati, and he's doing some crack reports from there.
Hi, good to be back.
Good to be back. He was a regular on the Hafta. Yeah, those of you old listeners of Hafta would remember him as disagreeing with everyone. He was a major Ranga baiter. I remember he used to keep provoking Ranganath Anand Ranga. You remember? And I had to...
Anyway, yeah, perhaps.
I had to play peacemaker. But Arunabh is now a staff writer at Scroll and he reports from the Northeast. Is it politically correct to say Northeast or is it patronizing? What is the feeling there?
It's fine.
It's fine.
Stop being politically correct.
Okay.
It's fine. The North is fine.
So he's joining us on the phone from Assam. Before News Laundry and Scroll, he was at Sports Kida. So he's also one of those who believes cricket is a sport and not a game. It should be called Game Kida. And
And with Mint also.
And with Mint also. He was with the Mint. So he's got quite an impressive resume. And also joining us later will be Vivek Kaul, columnist for News Laundry and prominent journalist, to discuss the Reservation Bill and what else is on our menu. So I'll quickly go over all the stuff we will discuss. But before I do that, I have a quick announcement to make. So the coming Monday, that's January 14th, is the last day to avail the News Laundry subscription discount, which is a 30% discount we're giving on subscriptions for 6 months and longer. And the coupon code that you have to put in when you are subscribing to avail the discount is DEC18. We're facing a few issues with the app, so it would be great if you can subscribe and also listen to our content or consumer content through the browser, whether it's on your laptop or on your mobile. Go through the browser, not through the app, because the app on several cases and on several instruments gives glitches and it doesn't update. I know I've been promising to redo the app for a long time, but like I said, it takes a lot of resources. We'd like to use resources that we have right now, which are limited, for the upcoming election. So may I please encourage you to subscribe and give us more money so we can send all our journalists out across India rather than sit here and pelo hafta gyan, because ground reports will do you and journalism a bigger service than us peloing gyan here, which is cheaper to do but not quite as valuable as ground reports. So do subscribe, pay to keep news free, because when the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, advertisers are served. So subscribe, use the browser and not the app, and also to consume our content, try to use the browser, not the app. Hopefully by election, we'll have that sorted. Now, I'll quickly go over what all we will be discussing. The reinstatement of the CBI chief. Is that a victory, a loss? What is he allowed to do? What is he not allowed to do? Kauravas were test tube babies and gravitational waves will be called Narendra Modi waves. This is a gentleman from the Science Congress and he has caused much controversy and mirth. Then the Citizenship Bill. A strike begins across Northeast and very quickly NDA seems to be losing allies. Arunabh will shed some more light on that. Author Nayanthara Sehgal's invitation to the Marathi literary meet was withdrawn after threats from right-wing groups. The National Green Tribunal imposed a 100 crore fine on the Meghalaya government for illegal coal mining. Any hope of finding the miners alive is all but gone. Arunabh, they found 3 bodies, am I right?
No, they haven't found any bodies.
They found 3 helmets or clothes.
That was fake news.
Oh, that was fake news. Okay, so no bodies have been found. Okay.
No bodies.
And AAP leader HS...
they found another mine. They found 2 bodies, but it was a different mine altogether, not the same mine.
Oh, that means there were other people also in mines when this happened.
Yeah. I mean, mining rampant. I mean, the ban just not eat though.
Okay. And then AAP leader Phoolka has left the party and says it was wrong to turn the movement into a political party. So we will discuss a little bit of that. The Ramnath Goyanka Awards were announced last week, as were the Ramnath Royanka Awards by our own Manisha Pande. Then Prasar Bharati shuts down All India Radio National's channel to cut costs. Well, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We'll see what the panel has
And
to
one
say about
interesting
that.
development is that private channels will be able to relay news from AIR.
Yeah, we carried a piece on that, but but they cannot alter it in any form.
No, they can't
just have
alter
to
it. They
copy
just
paste the
take the
same
bulletin and play
So
it.
basically,
Yeah.
they're saying, "आप सब हमारा propaganda
हाँ.
करो," जैसे मन की बात होती है.
Exactly.
And finally, the bench has been announced for the Ram Temple case. And today, in fact, the hearing starts, right? Today's the 10th. It's been, he recused himself, you Lalit. So it's been shifted to the 29th. So yes, the can is just being kicked down the road. So first, let's start with our guest. Well, tell us on the citizenship bill, who all are the allies that they have lost? Conrad Sangma has said that he's no longer with NDA, as have several others, right? The citizenship.
No. That's a lot of bluster. To be, factually, it's just the AGP, the Assam Gana Parishad, the BJP's alliance Assam, which is formally quit the alliance. NPP hasn't quit the alliance. In fact, the Meghalaya government did pass a resolution a couple of months back to say that they will oppose the citizenship bill. So, Conrad refused to answer any questions yesterday from reporters. So it's unlikely that he'll quit the alliance altogether. So it remains to be seen, actually. They haven't lost any ally as such yet, except for the AGP.
Okay, so how big is it a deal for all? Like, while this is called the citizenship bill, which is applicable for all of India, it seems to be creating problems only in your part of the country. Two things. How did you prove that you are Assamese? Because I was hoping they'd send you away to Bangladesh, but we are stuck with you, it seems.
I'm sorry? Yeah. I had, my grandfather was in 1951 NRC, so it's fairly easy for us.
Okay.
Yeah. As far as to why this is such a big deal here and not anywhere else, because I suppose the Northeast has always been, a place where identity politics is played out very strongly. And, the Assam agitation, in particular, 1979 to 85, was an foreigner movement. And ever since then, Assam's politics has revolved around the idea of, illegal migration and foreigners.
Right.
So it's bound to be a bigger issue than anywhere else in the country, partly because of its proximity to Bangladesh, of course.
So how is it proceeding right now? All the processes that were put in place to certain citizens, 4 million names, I was told, were left out. The Prime Minister recently made a speech saying that no Indian will be left out. He has given us that assurance. All this is rhetoric. What really is being done on the ground to make sure? Is it even possible? Is it technically possible to ensure that no Indian is left out?
At the heart of it, the NRC is a massive bureaucratic process. And we all know how bureaucratic processes play out in our country. So 40 lakh people have been left out of the final draft of the NRC. And after that, there was another process which ended on the 31st of December, which is called the claims and objection process. Essentially, if you've been left out of the NRC, you can just take a fresh claim, submit some fresh documents and say that, there's a mistake, look again. And there's also a provision for objections. If I think that you've been wrongly included in the draft NRC, I can object your inclusion. So that process is over now. The filing of claims and objection is over now. Now we're waiting. Now basically it's for the court to decide what happens after this. The timeline of it is not very clear at the moment. There'll be hearing in the court, and the court will weigh in on what exactly happens going forward. But the citizenship bill, although they're closely connected, is an entirely different, entity. So what the citizenship bill seeks to do is, give citizenship to people, non-Muslims who've been left out of the NRC, right? So it essentially makes the NRC rather defunct, because any Hindu Bengali who is left out of the NRC will be considered an Indian citizen irrespective, through the citizenship bill, irrespective of his or her status in the NRC. That is what the bone of contention is all about.
So the NRC effectively is then about getting Bangladeshi Muslims out of India, because if the citizenship bill allows Hindus to become natural citizens of India, then what's left is just Bangladeshi Muslims, right?
Yeah, pretty much. As the government sees it, that was not how it was envisioned initially, but now effectively the citizenship bill is passed in the Rajya Sabha. That's what it will amount to.
But before we go on and discuss other stuff, I have a request for our listeners. Those of you who are listening to the Chhota Hafta and who are conservative with their pockets, there was this gentleman called Abhinandan 2018 who used to refer to you disrespectfully as Mufat Khors. He's dead. So those of you who are conservative with their spending, may I request you to consider subscribing to News Laundry, because for the election we want as much resources to put aside to go out and report from the ground. Do subscribe. Trust me, you'll find it worth your while. There is enough data to suggest that when independent reporting dies, it affects your pocket. I have tweeted a report around this, that when scrutiny of the government goes from the media, then the amount they can actually splurge for unproductive activities goes up. There is a case study that has been done. You can see my Twitter feed and the link to that article will be below. So you actually paying to keep news independent does impact your pocket. It makes your tax money well spent. With that little appeal, thank you all. Those of you who do subscribe, thank you those who are considering subscribing. And I hope I can convince you to subscribe full on. Okay, Anand, let me start with you. This is a slightly more trivial issue, but I find it very interesting because I think it has big implications in the long term. The Editors Guild statement about Pliable. What do you think of that statement? Was it necessary? What does it achieve? What does the Editors Guild do? Was it something you would have said should have been done?
If they would not have done, then people would also have said that they should have done something. So a response was needed, but I actually forgot the actual wording of their response.
The wording of the response was that they said that, of course, there were 4 or 5 paragraphs. In fact, the link is below. But they said something along the lines that Mr. Rahul Gandhi's, reference to a journalist as pliable is questioning her integrity. We condemn it. And then they said that words like prostitute and dalal that AAP and BJP have used in the past, all this is very condemnable. So they put pliable, dalal, prostitute in the same category. Then in the end, they also said that...
But they also said you should have a thick skin.
Then they also,
criticism is okay.
They said... it was just one... So.
Editors Guild is a professional presser body. So presser group, professional body. So you see, if doctors are attacked, if say university teachers are attacked, in ways that they consider unfair, or if other professionals, say chartered accountants, are attacked, then they would respond in a way so that all this is not fair. And this people can argue about the equivalences of different kinds of abuse. Now, a prostitute and pliable are not the same. So there can be complaints about the false equivalences, but they were not going into the hierarchy of the intensity
they are incumbent because of the nature of the organization that they have to react.
They have to. That is why, because it's a professional body. Ultimately, its mandate at the end of the day is to see, among other things, also see that reputation or the social, what you can say, the social standing of the professionals remain untainted. So that.
Manisha?
Editors Guild is just, for me, it's just a bunch of, fuddy-duddies who don't know what the hell they're up to. You've seen this again and again. They have to issue a statement they don't. Like when Cobra Post happened, they didn't do anything. When the Manipur journalist was jailed, they didn't put out anything. When the Kerala anchor person was attacked, they didn't put out anything. Then suddenly Arun Jaitley says that, will Editors Guild issue a statement now? And then they issued it quickly. And it was a very ridiculous statement. And you've written a piece on why it is so. But I think as a body, it should be dissolved. I think there should be younger people in that guild, or there should be some sort of better representation, because the current guys who are heading it or who represent it have no clue. And they're constantly fumbling around. They don't know what to say. And all their statements are really ridiculous. And this statement, it was... we have noted with concern the word of, the use of the word pliable. What is so concern-worthy about it? The interview itself, the last thing that Narendra Modi says is that, with Smita Prakash, he says that, मुझे बुरा लगा कि मैं Lutyens This Lutyens journalist is also sort of a derogatory word that BJP uses. So the other person said pliable, usme kya hai?
So Vivek, tell us about this reservation bill. What are your reservations? The most obvious pun.
What are my reservations? Okay.
Yes.
First, as I wrote in one of my columns, a reservation is basically useful if the government is creating jobs, and the government in India, and this includes central government, state governments, quasi-government institutions, they have not been creating jobs for a while now. And I've been writing this. It's not that I've started, this is a point that I've come up with just now, that, Mr. Modi has decided a 10% reservation for the economically weaker sections of the society. I've been saying this for the past 3-4 years. So a reservation is useful only when there are jobs. So given that no jobs are being created by the government, on the whole, so any reservation is basically useless. That's the first point. The second point is it's slightly complicated in the sense that the example that I would like to use here is that of the poverty line. A few years back, if you remember, there was a lot of hangama around the time when people came to know that the urban poverty line in India is just rupees 32, 33 per
Correct.
day.
I remember Monte Carlo Walia got a lot of flack for. Yeah, Monte Carlo Walia got a lot of flack for that. I remember.
Yes, I mean everyone did, but that was a very when you look at it just from the point of view of why the line is so low, it's a very simplistic way of looking at the problem. Now there is a reason why the poverty line was set at 32, 33 rupees per day. And basically what happens is that the government has only so many resources, right? I mean, it has only got a given amount of money, infrastructure. So if you set the poverty line high, let's say you set the poverty line at rupees 100 per day. Okay. So the number of poor people go up dramatically.
Right.
And then you have to spread the same resources over a larger number of people. And in the process, the poorest of the poor lose out. Okay. So which is why the poverty line is set at such a low level. So the basic point is that any cut off has to be useful. Now, in this case, if you look at the income cutoff for the reservation, it's around, the income of a household has to be up to rupees 8 lakh. So 95% of India qualifies.
Right.
If you look at the agriculture land cutoff, which is 5 acres, more than 86% of people have land which is, agri land which is less than that number. So as a, as a cutoff, the entire reservation is basically useless because practically everyone qualifies for it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, one point that people have been making is, okay, we understand that the government's not been creating jobs, but at least, the economically weaker section of the society will get reservation when it comes to higher education.
Yeah,
The fact that everyone qualifies for that reservation makes that reservation basically useless.
I find it fascinating that the cutoff, the spokesperson of the BJP are saying that the bill that's been passed in Parliament, just for context for our listeners, the Parliament passed a bill that put a reservation of 10% for the general category, because right now reservations are only for SC, ST, OBCs and other marginalized communities. And there was this general narrative which I disagreed with, that the high caste who are also poor kind of don't benefit and undeserving lower castes benefit, which is a problematic argument, but we will not get into that. The bill does not say what is that cutoff. Apparently the Haryana government said that 8 lakh is the cutoff for them. And now the spokesperson of the BJP are saying we let every state decide. Which is really weird, because if the income tax slab is decided by the central government, every state doesn't decide who's poor and who'll pay the tax. I mean, so clearly, as far as an effective, tool is concerned, this is useless. As a political tool, I mean, I don't know, I'd like the panel to tell me if they think it'll be useful. But it is a completely half-cooked cake. You can't even eat it.
Yeah, I mean, see, I'm just going by what, read on the, read in the media. Times of India put these cutoffs on their front page.
Yeah, because the BJP of one state said so. So, I mean, obviously, I don't think they can.
So I'm just going by that. I mean, and I know, I mean, the numbers are not there in the bill, which is okay because it's a constitutional amendment. So obviously, every time you have to increase or decrease the number, you can't go back to making a constitutional amendment.
Fair enough.
So that is understandable.
Let's talk about CBI versus CBI. Let Anand kick this off. For those of you who came late, the CBI chief has been reinstated. Alok Verma is back at the helm of affairs. The constitution says that the CBI chief can be appointed or removed by the Prime Minister, the leader of the opposition, and the Chief Justice of India. And this is the same collegium that can either appoint him or remove him. So constitutionally, his removal was not valid. That is what the Supreme Court has said. He's back. He has recalled many of the people who were transferred out. Now, this collegium has to decide whether they will keep him or do away with him. Apparently, he's also going to be filing a plea or whatever it is, that 75 days that he lost of service before he's supposed to retire, I think, within a month or so. He should get another 75 days so that he can complete his full term. But on this, I find, I mean, being not very fond of Mr. Modi, but even putting all prejudice aside, this, in my view, has been the biggest slap in the face of the Prime Minister. And this was clear by the kind of press conference that Arun Jaitley gave. Arun Jaitley has the swagger of, you know what Kapil Sibal used to have? He has this very annoying grin, like when he says something really foolish and then he grins like it's a punchline. It's not a fucking punchline, it's a shitty line. So don't wait for us to laugh. But some sidekicks will laugh, I'm sure. But the press conference he gave was so lame, and I've never seen him so uncomfortable giving a press conference. I think this has been the biggest deal in this term. I'd like the panel's views. Anand first, and then we'll go to Vivek.
Yeah, Supreme Court had put a rider that you will not take large policy decisions, and in revoking the transfer orders of some officers who were investigating Asthana. So he has defended it, saying that these are not big policy decisions. Right. These are routine work. This is a part of routine work of a CBI chief.
Right.
So it's a second is that the immediate big thing, the context of has gone because the Rafale investigation, which was people had argued that it is because of that. Now that context has disappeared because of the Supreme Court's verdict. So he will not entertain the complaint that Mr. Bhushan and Yashwant Sinha for an inquiry, because Supreme Court has cleared government of it. So that is what we will see in CBI is that though there would be a lot of talk of the institutions, is that 2-3 petty men will play their game. A CBI chief, Asthana, or someone control. It would be a small joys of ego classes of 2-3 people, and a lot of large institutional and moralistic stories would come out of it. That ye hai, wo hai. Ant mein hai ki there are 2-3 people who will control it, and the ego battles of those 2-3 people would be dissected as if it is a great moral narrative.
Yeah. How about you, Vivek? What is your reading of this? Is it a big deal or it's just...
Oh, I mean, it's a big deal, clearly. But having said that, I think, Modi's purpose in minimizing the damage is also sort of, been met, given that Mr. Verma retires on January 31st. So he probably has, around 20 days more to do any damage. So, yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. I mean, you can't, you've removed the CBI chief and the court sort of reinstated him back. So it's clearly a very big deal.
But does the rest of the country see it as such, Manisha? You think they don't give a shit?
I don't think it can have much of an impact.
Rest of the country does not care about it. Rest of the country is entertained by conspiracy theories. If rest of country if the news reaches also that CBI chief ko hataya tha and he has been reinstated,
they still will not care.
No, they will take it like this कि उसमें जो है 500 करोड़ रुपया रखा हुआ था.
It's too much of a
तो
complicated
उसमें
turf battle for people to be interested in.
No, it has to have a greater story than this. It has like
It's not enough.
कोई murder shudder, कोई पैसा
कुछ
वैसा.
ऐसे मतलब इतना complicated story is not a big deal कि ये probe हो रहा था वो हाँ वो बीजेपी का
मतलब even I am lost in like some of the strains. Even I got lost thinking.
If there are too many complications in a story, it is not a mass story.
सुन लिया अफ्रीका मुफत खोरों. Not to brag or anything, but News Laundry Hafta features in the top 50 in the world on SoundCloud in the news and politics category for podcasts. So do subscribe and see what you're missing, because when the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, advertisers are served. Subscribe, help keep news independent and free.
All News Laundry podcasts are available on iTunes and Stitcher and any other podcast platform.